Hello, awesome students. How are you? Hope all is good. Let's carry on what we have started last session, the tragedy of Macbeth. Macbeth is a tragedy by the great dramatist William Shakespeare that is thought to be first performed in 1606. It dramatizes the damaging physical and psychological effect of political ambition on those who seek power, the hunger of power. If we look at a brief synopsis of the play, 3 witches tell the Scotch general Macbeth that he will be the king of Scotland. Encouraged by his wife, Macbeth kills the king, Duncan, who becomes the new king and kills more people out of paranoia. There was a civil war that erupts to the overthrow of Macbeth, resulting in more death. It's a tragedy. Blood is everywhere. Also, it has the theme of supernatural power in the idea of the prophecies, which are the witches. Let us get into more detail, starting with Act 1. On a bleak Scotch moorland, Macbeth and Banquo, 2 of King Duncan's generals, discover 3 strange women. These women, or witches, they claim actually to have the ability to predict the future. So they give this kind of prophecies. The witches gave the generals 2 prophecies for that. For my students who are with me in live sessions, I advise you to read that in page number 4 in my booklet and page number 5. They promised Macbeth that he will be promoted twice to Thane of Cawdor and King of Scotland. Banquo's descendants will be kings, but Banquo isn't promised any kingdom himself. The generals want to hear more, but the weird sisters disappear. Soon afterwards, King Duncan names Macbeth Thane of Cawdor as a reward of his success in the recent battles. This was in page number 6 and page number 7. The promotion seems to support the prophecy. The idea of the prophecy is one of the main ideas mentioned at the early beginning by Shakespeare for the symbolism of the witches. The king then promises and proposes to make a brief visit that night to Macbeth Castle at Inverness. Lady Macbeth receives news from her husband about the prophecy and his new title. She vows to help him become the king. We will talk more about Lady Macbeth later, but whatever means are necessary to be done. In Act 2, Macbeth returns to his castle, followed almost immediately by King Duncan. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth then plot together to kill Duncan and wait until everyone is asleep. At the appointed time, Lady Macbeth gives the guards drugged wine so Macbeth can enter and kill the king. He regrets this almost immediately, but his wife reassures him. She leaves the bloody daggers by the dead king just before Macduff. And nobleman arrives. When Macduff discovers the murder, Macbeth kills the drunkard guards in a show of rage and retribution. Duncan's sons Malcolm and Donalbain flee, fearing for their own lives, but they are nevertheless blamed for the murder. In Act 3, Macbeth becomes the King of Scotland, but it is the plagued of feelings to insecurity that he had. And we had a long discussion with my students in the live sessions about hallucinations. At the early beginning, we had to speak about that, about Macbeth. He remembers the prophecy that Banquo's descendants will inherit the throne and arrange for Banquo and his son Fleance to be killed. In the darkness, Banquo is murdered, but his son escapes the assassination, and at the state banquet that night, Macbeth sees the ghost of Banquo, and that's where it comes, the hallucinations, and worries all in his head the courtiers with his mad response. Lady Macbeth dismisses the court and unsuccessfully tries to calm her husband down. In Act 4, and we know that Shakespeare always writes 5 acts, Macbeth seeks out the witches who say that he will be safe until a local wood, Burnham Wood, marches into battle against him. He also need no fear anyone to be born of woman. They also have this prophecy that the Scotch succession will still come from Banquo's son. Macbeth embarks on a reign of terror, slaughtering many, including Macduff's family. Macduff had gone to seek Malcolm, one of Duncan's sons who fled at the court of English king. Malcolm is young and unsure of himself, but Macduff, pained with grief, persuading him to lead an army against Macbeth. Interesting, isn't it? In Act 5, and almost to the resolution, we're getting Macbeth feeling safe in his remote castle at Dunsinane, and until he's told that Burnham Wood is moving towards him. Malcolm's army is carrying branches from the forest as a camouflage for their assault on Macbeth's stronghold. Meanwhile, an overwrought and conscience-ridden Lady Macbeth walks in her sleep and tells her secrets to the doctor. She commits suicide. As the final battle commences, Macbeth hears of Lady Macbeth's suicide and mourns. In the midst of losing battle, Macduff challenges Macbeth. Macbeth learns Macduff is the child of Caesarean birth, realizes he is doomed, and submits to his enemy. Macduff triumphs and brings the head of the traitor Macbeth, look at that, wow, to Malcolm. Malcolm declares peace and goes to Soane to be crowned as a king. Stay tuned for more about the tragedy of Macbeth. If you have learned something new this time, please thumb up for like, comment if you have a question or a query, I'll answer you. Share with others to benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for the latest with Miss Karima. Miss Karima, English Literature and English Language, GCSE, IGCSE. I will see you pretty soon. Have a good time. Goodbye for now.